Open up a world of travel possibilities with the Capital One Venture X card. What's in your wallet?
Terms apply. Lounge access is subject to change. See CapitalOne.com for details.
Small businesses are the heart of America. But you don't have to go it alone. As the nation's largest nonprofit resource of expert business mentoring, SCORE has helped millions of entrepreneurs build their businesses for free. Get the connections, education, and guidance you need with SCORE. We're ready to help. Find a mentor today at score.org.
Now back to more of Jesse Jackson Jr. on KBLA Talk 1580.
The Jesse Jackson Jr. Show. 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 King Folly, drop the beat. Come on and talk with me. Come on and listen to me. Come on and talk with me. Come on and listen to me. KBLA Talk 1580. Download the app.
I'm Jesse Jackson Jr. Welcome forward to the Jesse Jackson Jr. Show on KBLA Talk 1580. We will be in the Beehive this week. I'll say more about that at the beginning of our next break, commemorating the 5th anniversary of KBLA Talk 1580. All of your favorite talk show hosts are going to be there. We're going to have a DJ. We're going to have some music. Lunel's going to be performing. Kenny Lattimore is going to be present, and others. We are looking forward to seeing you there. I'll talk about that more in the next segment of the Jesse Jackson Jr. Show. But I want to talk for a few more moments about Juneteenth. Juneteenth, officially Juneteenth National Independence Day, is a federal holiday in the United States. It is celebrated annually on June 19th to commemorate the end of slavery in the United States. Now, that day right there ought to be a day where we are some kind of hot about having ever been in slavery in the first place. But it's celebrated in different forms, some with parades, some with barbecues. Very little recitement of what the holiday is actually about. It's just another day off for some of us. But the fact of the matter is, it is a form of a Holocaust remembrance for African Americans, for what we've been through, and the fact that we have been hoodwinked and bamboozled. The holiday's name, first used in 1890s, is a portmanteau of June and 19th, referring to June 19th, 1865, the day when Major General Gordon Granger ordered the final enforcement of the Emancipation Proclamation in Texas at the end of the American Civil War. Now, June 19th, 1865, a Union general delivers the final enforcement of the Emancipation Proclamation, which was 1863, in Texas. Abraham Lincoln issued the Emancipation Proclamation in 1863. And he specifically issued it in states where the Union had no control and kept slavery in place in Union-controlled territories where the Union did have control for political purposes. Let's discuss that for a moment. Where he had no control in Texas, he freed the slaves, and the Texans rebelled against that. And from 1863 to June 19th, 1865, the Texans did not free the slaves. This was an area where Lincoln and the North had no control. There are other parts of the South where the slaves were not freed as well, because the South, the North, had no control in the Confederacy. But Lincoln, strategically recognizing that the stronghold of our nation's Union forces was Washington, D.C., recognized that Maryland, some parts of Virginia that surrounded Washington, D.C., some states like Kentucky, supported the Union cause but did not want the Union cause to be about slavery. So Lincoln kept the narrative of the war on saving the Union. But when he issued the Emancipation Proclamation, he gradually moved territories that were around Washington, D.C., into the acceptance and the idea that we are not going to be able to end this war once and for all until we end slavery. It took the northern states who believed in Lincoln some time to accept that point of view so that the men from those northern states would continue to fight in the war. He could not make it about slavery until he could make it about slavery, and that was the Emancipation Proclamation of 1863. There you have it. That's the story. That's the context of Juneteenth. And so Lincoln carefully navigated sustaining the Union without making the issue for sustaining the Union about race. He had to make it about saving the country. But at the appropriate time, if the Union were to survive, and after Gettysburg, July 4th, 1863, in November of that year, Lincoln would return to Gettysburg and he would define every subsequent July 4th in the Gettysburg Address, a 3.5-minute speech calling the nation to an understanding that the men who had paid the ultimate sacrifice lay on that battlefield, that the nation itself may endure, no longer half slave and half free. And since 1863, we have been redefining July 4th to include women, to include the LGBTQ, to include Native Americans, to include our brown brothers and sisters from the southern border, to include give me your tired, your poor, your huddled masses, welcoming immigrants who've been oppressed around the world to the United States. From that moment forward, we began a new definition of the holiday, July 4th, that has allowed everybody to celebrate in a way that they could not celebrate but for the way the 16th president of the United States conducted the war. And so, if you say, I'm just an American, that's not how America felt about you on July 4th, 1776. It took a minute. It took a minute for America to get there, but she eventually got there. I'm just an American. Well, it took a minute. That's not how they felt about women on July 4th, 1776, or September 17th, 1787, more specifically when they wrote the Constitution. That's not the way they felt. This was a very, very exclusive club. And desegregating the exclusive club has been the great project that is America. That's the American project. The 19th Amendment brought women into the fold. And after the 19th Amendment was passed, women began to feel more American. And of course, the first woman speaker of the House of Representatives is none other than Nancy Pelosi. Where's Nancy Pelosi today? Nancy Pelosi is on the south side of Chicago. She is at the Obama Library Center, where the 44th president of the United States has named a pavilion the Nancy Pelosi Pavilion on the south side of Chicago. That's exactly where Nancy Pelosi is right now, in large measure because the 19th Amendment to the Constitution of the United States made Nancy Pelosi and her service in the Congress of the United States possible. That's a fact. Our Hispanic brothers and sisters who are holding office around this country far became more American after the 1965 Voting Rights Act, and it drew congressional districts across the country, just like it drew African American congressional districts across the country, to desegregate the Congress of the United States and give them a voice on the floor of the Congress. And so while we celebrate Juneteenth, the same processes that led to the establishment of the Juneteenth holiday and the events surrounding General Granger's order that the Emancipation Proclamation finally applied to the people of Texas, Hispanics don't have to fight that fight. We fought that fight. But it made it possible for them to be mayors, for them to be governors, for them to be senators, for them to be secretaries of housing and urban development, for them to potentially be the next governor of the state of California, the first Hispanic governor of the state of California, potentially Javier Becerra. That's the historical narrative. And so Juneteenth ain't just our holiday. These are pivotal holidays in the establishment of democracy. And I can't think of anything that makes more historical sense than the fact that KBLA is celebrating its 5th anniversary when? On Juneteenth. Because the founder of KBLA had enough sense to recognize that Juneteenth is a turning point in our thinking. Not just another barbecue, not just another party, but a turning point in our thinking about how we see ourselves. Democracy is not a far off conversation that others have. It is a upfront, in our face conversation that matters to who we are as a people. Make no mistake about that. That's who we are. That's who America is. And that's why we need to see you tomorrow at the Beehive. Now, I probably have flown the furthest distance to be here for the celebration and commemoration. The Negro has 1 foot in the church and 1 foot in the courtroom. I often say about my brother Todd Yeary, who's on our shows on Thursday. 1 foot in the courtroom, 1 foot in the church. We got 1 foot in celebration and 1 foot in commemoration. We got 1 foot, talking garbage, but we got another foot in the truth. KBLA Talk 1580 is turning 5, and we're celebrating it with you. And we're celebrating it at the Beehive this coming Friday. But you must register at KBLA1580.com, and we're encouraging folks to ride share. However you arrive, just get there. We look forward to celebrating our 5th anniversary, your 5th anniversary. Probably far more than that since the Emancipation Proclamation, since the first Juneteenth in 1865. If you think about it, an official holiday, we have been celebrating Juneteenth for more than 150 years in this country, or commemorating it in one form or another. Here to bail me out is none other than my who left me 30 minutes ago. Johnny Mack, our regular contributor on Thursdays, and undoubtedly is having some Wi-Fi problems. Atiba, welcome forward to the show.
Hey, Jesse, it's good to be back with you.
Thank you, man. I feel like I should go get a glass of water.
I was thinking about you with my bottle of water here. I was like, man, he's going. You're on fire, brother.
Atiba, thank you very much for Representative Bowers. Our brothers and sisters in Texas have been leading one gallant fight for democracy on this 250th anniversary celebration. And she's not the first state representative that you brought on our show from the state of Texas, including those who've had to, she reminded us, confront arrest warrants on the 250th anniversary of America.
And when you say that, it makes me think of Fannie Lou Hamer. I'm sick and tired of being sick and tired. And I know we're sick and tired, but the hope is in all these different things. And part of the hope is us telling our story. I think that at times we focus on some things and we hold on to them so much that we are caught complaining, and it's not complaining, it's frustration. But there are so many things in our history to be grateful for. The other day I'm reading John Lewis's book, and Walking with the Wind, and also, like in the gym in the morning, I'm watching old episodes of Eyes on the Prize. Now, let me tell you, first off, Eyes on the Prize is what the late Congressman John Lewis wrote in my book. He said, Atiba, with faith and hope, keep your eyes on the prize. And I thought about this when I realized that Emmett Till's murder, abduction, kidnapping happened on August 28th. The March on Washington happened on August 28th. Right. President Obama's DNC acceptance speech in Denver, Colorado, August 28th. And now you were talking about KBLA and its 5th anniversary, and congratulations, and that it being on Juneteenth, and the opening of President Obama's library right now, the day before Juneteenth. and this is where with faith comes in for me. It's recognizing that these things don't happen by accident. And God is the greatest mathematician, greatest planner, greatest all these things. So when we look back at at Juneteenth, those men, women, and children endured, sacrificed for us today to be talking about them. And I think the responsibility for us is, how do we lift them up? How do we remember their pain, their struggle, their sacrifice? And I think that we best do that by telling our history and recognizing that they imagine the complaints that they must have had, but the faith that they had to have to endure, to be there, and the celebration that they had to feel, which is why Juneteenth celebrations came about, because they didn't get the news till 2 years later.
Absolutely true. If you're listening to us on the 405, the 101, the 5, the 110, 118, or the 10, you're listening to KBLA Talk 1580. Tomorrow is the 5th anniversary of our unapologetically progressive radio station right here in Los Angeles. I'm in town, and we're going to be at the Beehive. All of your favorite talk show hosts, along with Kenny Latimer, along with Lunel, will all be right here celebrating and commemorating what it means to be us on Juneteenth. More on the Jesse Jackson Jr. Show, our very special guest Atiba, when we come forward right here at KBLA Talk 1580.
It's afternoon drive time with Jesse Jackson Jr. Only on KBLA Talk 1580.
I'm Amber Payton with BIN News Now. A ceremony honoring the New York Knicks is taking place after their ticker tape parade in Lower Manhattan.
What a gift it is to be brought together by pure, unfiltered joy.
Mayor Zarem Mamdani says the city is united after a 53-year wait. East Lansing, Michigan City Manager Robert Bellman has resigned, and City Council has appointed former city employee Annette Irwin as interim city manager. Lansing NAACP President James McCurtis says the resignation is a good step, but more leaders should step down. Mayor Eric Altman says finding a permanent replacement could take several months. And Maryland is joining a multi-state coalition opposing new Trump administration rules that would fast-track nuclear micro-reactor technology. Black Attorney General Anthony Brown and others say the reactors could offer fossil fuel-free energy but remain largely untested. The coalition says federal regulators must ensure public and environmental safety before deployment. Get BIN News Now on demand 24/7 on the iHeartRadio app.
Attention Ram owners. Complete Recall 67A. Get $500 and a chance to win a getaway to Miami for two to see the final race of the season. Plus, meet Brendan Butterbean Queen. Learn more and schedule at CumminsRecall.com.
This is the KBLA Sports Minute with Ray Richardson.
The Dodgers have the best record in Major League Baseball after a 3-game sweep over Tampa Bay. The sweep put the Dodgers at 48-27. They have a 9-game lead over San Diego in the NL West. The Dodgers are off today. They start a 3-game series at home Friday night against Baltimore. The first round of the World Cup is generating high TV ratings for Fox Sports and Telemundo, the primary broadcast partners for the World Cup. An average of 6 million viewers tuned into Fox Sports for each of the first 16 group matches. That's a 128% increase from first-round matches for the World Cup in 2022. An average of 7.5 million people watch first-round matches on Telemundo, the Spanish-language network based in Miami. The 7.5 million is a 234% increase from 2022. 18 million viewers on Fox Sports watched the U.S. beat Paraguay last Friday. No debates, no speculation, just the info you need. That's your KBLA Sports Minute. I'm Ray Richardson on KBLA Talk 1580.
This is KBLA Talk 1580. Talk radio. That's music to your ears. We're unapologetically progressive. KBLA Talk 1580. We've got a lot to talk about.
Hi, I'm Zoe Williams, aka the Voice of Reason, encouraging you to join me weekdays from 7 to 9 p.m. for the world's most intriguing relationship radio roundtable. Every night, I facilitate and encourage our loyal listeners to participate in the most engaging relationship discussions you'll hear anywhere. So make it a point to rendezvous with me, Zoe Williams, the voice of reason, Monday through Friday, 7 to 9 p.m. Pacific Standard Time. Trust me, your relationships will never be the same. The VOR is on fire tonight.
Unapologetically progressive. KBLA Talk 1580. We've got your black.
Don't be anxious or confused about AI. Take control of your career when you get the skills to tackle real business problems and design specialized solutions. HR Dive reported that entry-level talent with applied AI credentials can receive up to a 25% salary boost. But where do you find training that you can trust? Future-proof your career and deliver more value with Humans Lead the Way AI. Their hybrid learning courses use practical definitions, real-world examples, and strategic insights to help you and your team understand AI with confidence. No magic, no hacks, no shortcuts. Just practical knowledge that helps you use AI more successfully. Don't wait. AI can never replace people who know how to use it well. Register for courses today at humansleadtheway.com. That's humansleadtheway.com.
All I need is one mic.
With a KBLA Talk 1580 editorial, I'm Tavis Smiley. In my prior commentary about Destination Crenshaw, or Procrastination Crenshaw as we call it around here, I opine that sometimes neglect becomes a decision. I want to challenge my own neglect becomes a decision thesis in just a moment. This $100 million revitalization project was supposed to transform 1.3 miles of Crenshaw Boulevard into a world-class celebration of Black art and culture. It was first promised to open in 2023, then 2024, and here we are, still waiting, still suffering. The businesses along this corridor, Black-owned businesses, are suffocating. Construction chaos everywhere, shuttered storefronts, a community being bled dry by broken promises. So, I stand by my earlier formulation that neglect becomes a decision. But as I have thought more about the gross negligence, the incompetence on steroids, it occurs to me that sometimes neglect isn't just a decision. Neglect is the default position of some Black electeds. Not all, but some. They just don't believe that Black folk deserve the very best. They don't believe that we deserve to be treated with dignity and respect. So we go from being constituents on the campaign trail to collateral once they're sworn into office. And when, for example, one is termed out of office and can't run again, but is still clutching the gavel of power, one thinks that he can stay comfortably above the fray while we anguish for years on end. The apparent attitude is, I'll just leave this mess for the next person to clean up. That's what it feels like, Mr. President, Mr. LA City Council President. But it's not just him, it's the local media too, Black and white, corporate and independent. Look at how little has been said about this never-ending nightmare in Crenshaw, year after year after year. Nobody at City Hall and nobody who's supposed to be holding City Hall accountable seems to care one bit about the safety and security of Crenshaw residents and the Black business owners who are slowly being strangled. Don't be fooled. This isn't just a construction delay. This is what disrespect looks like with a budget attached. With a KBLA Talk 1580 editorial, I'm Tavis Smiley. As always, we welcome your feedback.
You're listening to Jesse Jackson Jr. on KBLA Talk 1580.
The Jesse Jackson Jr. Show. 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 King Volley, volley, drop the beat. Come on and talk with me. Come on and listen to me. Come on and talk with me. Come on and listen to me. KBLA Talk 1580.
I'm Jesse Jackson Jr. Welcome forward to the Jesse Jackson Jr. Show on KBLA Talk 1580. We are celebrating the opening of the Obama Presidential Library, and Juneteenth will never be the same holiday again. The way in which we've been celebrating the holiday, it will be different, because on this day forevermore, there will be an anniversary of one of the most important symbols in the history of our country, the establishment of the Obama Presidential Center. It is not a presidential library. The President of the United States, the 44th President, intends for the center to be a gathering place of activity, of consciousness, of community service, but also thoughtful dialogue, not only for domestic, but also world leaders to be able to have a conversation about the state, I assume, of human rights, not only in our own country, but around the world. This is a monumental moment in the history of African Americans. Whatever you think about the way it looks, its shape, its size, 10 years from now, the same conversation we're having today won't be the same conversation we're having in 10 years. It will not be the same conversation a new generation of Americans will be having in 25 years. That library will be sitting there as a testament to the history of our people from 1619 to the present, no matter who tries to define it, because of its historical significance and its very broad-ranging implications for human rights around the world. Joining me in this hour is none other than Atiba. And in this moment, I'm thinking, Atiba, that, we're celebrating the 5th anniversary of KBLA. We are celebrating on Juneteenth. We're celebrating the opening of the Obama Center on Juneteenth. But at this hour, politically, voting and midterms effing matter. Is it possible that we could even consider Juneteenth celebrations across the country without discussing voter registration and participation? Tiba?
No, I don't think so. And when we were at the break, I was like, I have this memory, Jesse, where I can pick up my phone and I don't remember why, but I can remember things in the past, like it's like ridiculous. And one of the things that came to mind, I want to come back to the voting question though, was because of voting, we got the first American of African descent to be president of the United States, right?
And because of voting, we have a license at KBLA that allows African Americans to broadcast.
There you go. Voting. And in that, one of the things that was so beautiful was 2008, millions of Americans came together and said they wanted to see President Barack Obama become the president over John McCain. And then 4 years later, they did the same thing when he ran for president again against, I can't think of his name right now. But what comes to mind, they always say you don't remember the loser. But the thing is that I was also thinking back to when I mentioned about the March on Washington, Emmett Till, DNC acceptance speech, KBLA, Juneteenth, Obama Library. Well, August 22nd, 2011, the African American History Museum opened. The King Memorial, the memorial between two presidents, was open. September 24th, 2016, the African American History Museum was open. Both of those have the name of President Barack Obama on it because he was the president when they were opened. I'm mentioning this because I really want to keep going back to faith and recognizing that we are built for this moment and recognizing that there's something special that's coming about. There's something special about this being the 250th anniversary. There's something special about the fact that I'm saying that midterms effing matter. It's something special here because this is our opportunity to define the democracy. And I was reading over the break something that former Secretary Hillary Clinton posted on her Instagram page about the opening of the library today. And it was really interesting what she said. And I mean, she quoted President Obama, and I have to pull it up real quick because I really want to share this. But in terms of what we are witnessing and what happened today in Chicago with this center And listening to how the president talked about things is that it's not about him. He's always said it's always been about us. And he said democracy can be frustrating. It can be slow. It can be inefficient. And yet, more than anything, I hope this center will serve as an affirmation of just how special and precious this democracy really is, and remind us of what we can achieve when we embrace our shared responsibility as citizens. So as we're thinking about Juneteenth and we're thinking about the struggles of slavery, the struggles of the civil rights movement, even the struggles of today, I still strongly believe that we were brought here from Africa for this moment, that it is up to us to stand up and recognize our place in this democracy, our place as African who are in America, our place to say that God brought us here for a reason. It is time for us to wake up and embrace that and be the leaders within the democracy, the way that President Obama showed and his family showed so admiringly during their 8 years in office.
You know, an African American has died in every conflict since the Revolutionary War. In other words, our blood has been spilled in every single conflict since the American Revolution. Not a single conflict have we not been a part of. And in a real sense, when W.E.B. Du Bois talks about our two-ness, and when Martin Luther King Jr. refers to us as a hybrid of two continents, two worlds, two realities, and a synthesis, we are one or the other, but we are a perfect mixture of our mother and our father, each of us in our own way, shape, and form. This biological reality is true, but this political reality is also true. We are as much American as any other American and as much African as any other African, but there's something unique about us that makes us unique unto ourselves. And that is what it means to truly, truly identify and recognize, as President Barack Obama did and does, is celebrate the differences. Celebrate the differences. Not your differences, but somebody else's differences.
Mm-hmm.
I found great joy in the fact that you're not like me. You're different than me, that you have different points of view than me. And everyone takes the idea that I think is at the core of the president and even the first lady who delivered some tremendous remarks today, Michelle Run, as far as I'm concerned.
Thank you.
Michelle Run. You're talking about shocking the whole system. Michelle Run, that changes the Democratic lineup overnight. If for no other reason than to provide hope for young ladies and young men and for Americans, regardless of their race, sex, or class, about the possibility of what we can become as a nation. We really, really owe that to the next generation. I'm Jesse Jackson Jr., listening to the Jesse Jackson Jr. Show. When we come forward, we're going to have a continued conversation with Atiba, but we're also going to get a word of hope from Atiba. Remember, this is the 5th anniversary of KBLA Talk 1580, LA's voice, louder than ever, 6/19/26, 4 to 7 p.m. It's free if you RSVP at KBLA.com. I'm Jesse Jackson Jr. You're listening to the Jesse Jackson Jr. Show. More on KBLA Talk 1580 when we come forward.
While you're stuck in traffic, we can at least bring you up to speed on the news of the day. You're listening to Jesse Jackson Jr. only on KBLA Talk 1580. KBLA Talk 1580. We've got a lot to talk about.
KBLA Talk 1580, connecting you with services and solutions. The BLM Center for Black Power is a hub for Black activism in the city of Los Angeles, a standalone nonprofit affiliated with Black Lives Matter LA. The venue is home to live events, meetings, and organizing drives for Black-led community-based organizations. It is also the base of operations for Black Lives Matter LA. Built on what used to be a nuisance property owned by an arms dealer, the BLM Center for Black Power is in the heart of Leimert Park and has opened its doors to everything from youth organizers to toy drives to film screenings and community town hall meetings. To make a donation or make a request, please visit blmla.org. That's blmla.org. This is a community call to action from KBLA Talk 1580.
Going to a World Cup match in LA this summer? Ditch the parking stress and ride Metro. With direct service from across LA County, it's the easy way to get there for just $1.75 each way.
Onyx, I keep having stomach issues. Please make me a doctor's appointment.
Okay, are you suffering from diarrhea, bloating, gas, or oily stools? If so, you may want to ask your doctor if it could actually be a problem with your pancreas, called exocrine pancreatic insufficiency, or EPI.
My pancreas? How is EPI treated?
A prescription medicine like Creon, pancrelipase, is used to treat people who can't digest food normally because their pancreas doesn't make enough enzymes. Creon is the #1 prescribed treatment for EPI.
Creon may increase your chance of fibrosing colonopathy, a rare bowel disorder. Tell your doctor if you have a history of intestinal blockage or scarring or thickening of your bowel wall, if you are allergic to pork, or if you have gout, kidney problems, or worsening of painful swollen joints. Call your doctor if you have any unusual or severe gastrointestinal symptoms or allergic reactions. Take Creon as directed by your doctor and always with food. Do not chew capsules, as this may cause mouth irritation. Other side effects may include blood sugar changes, gas, dizziness, sore throat, and cough. These are not all the side effects of Creon. You can learn more at 1-800-633-9110.
Before your appointment, visit creoninfo.com. That's CREON info.com.
Are you drowning in IRS tax debt? Angela was. She called Civic Tax Relief and saved over $80,000. Felicia was having health problems, got behind on her taxes, interest and penalties were adding up. She called Civic Tax Relief and saved over $15,000. Civic Tax Relief is a professional tax negotiation firm that can protect you from the IRS. If you're getting collection letters, call Civic Tax Relief for a free consultation. They will go to work helping you discover all the relief programs you may qualify for free. James owed the IRS $37,000. Civic Tax Relief represented him against the IRS, and by the time everything was completed, he did not owe the IRS anything. If you are in trouble with the IRS, call Civic Tax Relief for your free consultation now. 800-200-2257. 800-200-2257. Get a free consultation and real tax relief. Call 800-200-2257. 800-200-2257.
Now back to more of Jesse Jackson Jr. on KBLA Talk 1580.
The Jesse Jackson Jr. Show. 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 King Volley, drop the beat. Come on and talk with me. Come on and listen to me. Come on and talk with me. Come on and listen to me. KBLA Talk 1580.
I'm Jesse Jackson Jr. Welcome forward to the Jesse Jackson Jr. Show on KBLA Talk 1580. I think Atiba has busted out his bongos.
Why you say that?
I heard bongos.
I must have been me putting my phone down.
Listen, that might have been the bongo. Listen, you're taking Juneteenth real seriously. If you'd have pulled out the bongos and you letting everybody know that over this way is where we go into freedom, because that's what they did in Roots. When my man pulled out the bongos, he said, listen, when you hear me playing this tune right here, we're leaving this evening.
Follow me.
Follow me. Kunta Kinte said, I'm going to stay with my family. Anyway, Atiba, welcome forward to the Jesse Jackson Jr. Show.
Jesse, it's always a pleasure being with you.
Honored and privileged to have known Barack Obama when he entered public life. In fact, I was the co-chairman, along with the late Paul Simon, of his campaign for United States Senate in 2006. Only 2 co-chairmen served in that capacity. I was a sitting member of Congress. Barack Obama was a state representative representing the seat formerly held by the late Alice Palmer. He had then attempted, shortly after his service in the state Senate, to run against Congressman Bobby Rush for the 1st Congressional District of Illinois. I shared with him that that was a bad idea, that Bobby
Yeah, because he also ran against my godfather, Don Trotter.
was very, very well respected. And Donnie Trotter is a good man, know him very, very well. He's my state senator, and was honored that Barack Obama would allow me to serve as one of the national co-chairmen of his campaign in 2008 for President of the United States. And if you remember the speech in Denver, Colorado, I was one of the speakers the night that Barack and Michelle Obama spoke at the Democratic convention accepting the nomination for the Democratic Party. In fact, I believe I introduced Barack Obama to Tavis Smiley back in the day.
Man, Jesse, I wish I knew you then, because I stood in that long line to get in there.
Man, listen, not long ago I had Tucker Carlson on the show, and Tucker Carlson reminded our listeners right here that, hey, Jesse, you're the one who introduced me to Barack Obama. I introduced Barack Obama to a lot of people, saw a lot in him, and he has become far more than I could have ever expected in terms of the leadership that he provided our country and the world. Grateful to call him my friend, grateful to see what he has created and what he is building, and the shape of the world to come that he will inevitably have an influence on. Atiba, your thoughts about this moment?
Yeah, it's funny you say that, Jesse, because one of the things I love the fact that, the journey that God has me on and my opportunities to engage with elected officials, particularly on the state level, because I met Barack Obama when he was a state senator. And my running joke to people is, had I known that he was going to become president within 6 years of meeting him, I would have grabbed onto his leg and I would have held on and gone anywhere he told me to go. But there was no way. That's the incredible thing about our democracy. Is the incredible thing about our politics. I think I've mentioned on the show before, Jesse, hearing you speak as a young person, as a leader within a young leader within the Congressional Black Caucus, and I was, much younger. And we don't know when we're meeting, when we're engaging with people, where they're going to go. But if you're willing to work hard, put your head down, push forward, maintain a sense of humility, and at the same time have the confidence to believe that you can make a change, that is the beauty of this country. And even in today's pieces, and we're hearing about, they're taking away this and they're taking away that. Well, I love Shirley Chisholm's quote that if they don't give you a seat at the table, bring a folding chair. And a former state legislator, Joe Armstrong, told me this one day. We were sitting in his car talking. He said, Atiba, if you're not sitting at the table, then you must be on the menu. And, the table for us is the voting box. The table for us right now is working to get people engaged and registered to vote. And also part of this is educating people to recognize that your vote does matter. I just, a few months ago, we had city council members, Robert White and Janice Lewis George, two friends of mine out from Washington, D.C., who this week just won their elections. Janice Lewis George was a council member when she came on. The next time she comes on, she'll be the mayor. She's in line to become mayor. She just won the Democratic primary. 75% of Washingtonians are Democrat, and she's expected to win the election in November to become and follow Muriel Bowser as the next mayor of Washington, D.C. And Robert White ran, and he won his race. He is now in line to replace Congresswoman Eleanor Holmes Norton and become the next delegate to the United States Congress to represent the Washington, D.C. So we never know who we're talking to, but we engage in this fight. We engage in this thing. We vote because it does matter. And Texas has the lowest voting turnout in the country. So if you know somebody in Texas, just call them, ask them, are you going to vote? And then ask them to call somebody and make sure that they vote. And let's just figure out how we can connect the dots. It's not just about the Black districts and the white districts and the Hispanic districts. It's about the American districts. And all of us together we are in this fight together. Whether you agree with me or disagree, we're still all Americans, and we need to recognize that your success does not mean that I can't be successful, and it shouldn't mean that.
In fact, it should mean that my success is your success and your success is mine. That is the very definition, from my perspective, of community. I want to share with you a little story in honor of the late Stephanie Tubbs Jones. When Barack Obama ran for president in 2008, very few members of the CBC knew Barack Obama. I had been serving in the Congress of the United States at that point for more than 13 years at that point, when I was co-chairman of Obama for president. And the Black Caucus ultimately ended up being divided between supporters of Hillary Clinton and the supporters of Barack Obama. As co-chairman of Obama for president, I led the supporters of Barack Obama for president, and Stephanie Tubbs Jones was the co-chairman of Hillary Clinton for president in 2008. When Stephanie died in the middle of that campaign, I remember going to her funeral in Ohio, and Hillary wouldn't even speak to me because we were keeping it going on behalf of Barack Obama. I am so grateful for the stories that I've learned, for the witness that I've had over the course of the progress that we have made. And believe me when I tell you, through Barack Obama, we have made enormous progress in defending the democracy and this country, which we should all call home. I'm Jesse Jackson Jr. Look forward to seeing everybody tomorrow at the Beehive. I'm Jesse Jackson Jr. on KBLA Talk 1580. Thank you for bailing me out, Atiba.
Thanks for having me, Jesse.
More when we come forward right here at KBLA Talk 1580. Happy 5th anniversary.
KBLA 1580 Santa Monica.
I'm Amber Payton with BIN News Now.